Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a few days since I put up my last video. Um, Man, I just it feels so good to finally get like pumped up about this again, and it just kind of goes to show that I mean, I'm sure you guys deal with it as well. You let other things get in the way of you and your fire, and you start to feel really distant. And and sometimes it's a lot of times it's the enemy, but a lot of times it's ourselves. For me, I feel like I've been doing it to myself, man. I've been so focused on like staying on fire and trying to take in all everything that I'm listening to, and I listen to preachings and music, I've been going out in the community and stuff and doing a little more like praying for people like randomly, and doing a lot of things that I feel that is what I should be doing. And I stayed in church. We're doing the prayer meeting thing. Everything's going great. As far as like the move of God, I feel like is still great. But the only thing is that I'm starting to realize is the more that I become more passionate about this, and the more that I begin to really make it my priority and really like try to keep that fire going, the tougher it becomes for me. The easier it becomes for me to get distant from God, or distance myself from God, just because like my expectations of like preachings and my expectations of Christianity and real radical people, they've gone up so much, that it's definitely a struggle for me to be okay with like your average Christianity, and it's something that I've really been dealing with, man, and I don't get upset, I just it kind of bothers me, but at the same time I'm like, well, that's what I should be setting the example for, right? Know my word, know that what I'm saying is biblical, know that talk to God as much as possible, fast, pray, not just like a 15-minute prayer, like commit to a good time period a day, set time aside to talk to God, and I heard this a lot of times, but I don't think I've ever really like experienced it up until right now. The whole marriage thing, I haven't been talking to God as much, and I haven't been in the Word, and I haven't been, like so like seeking Him, and I mean I have been seeking Him, but not first. I've been seeking Him, like after work, or I'm getting up late for work a lot, and that's kind of not a good thing. And then I just feel like I really need to correct that, because any little thing now that I do, it really just kind of makes me lose a little bit of focus. And I, I'm not letting it get to me. I'm definitely staying in the game. I'm in it to win it. I've been listening to Isaiah Saldivar and this new guy Brian Barcelona for today, as far as just preachings, and it was a crazy day. It started off as a day where I'm like, man, I got up late for work, and I'm just getting mad at myself, getting mad at the enemy. Like, if I don't get up early, I'm not gonna pray. I'm gonna be rushing to work. That if I get up late, I'm not gonna have time to thank God for another day, or I might forget. It's gonna be quick and mediocre, and that's not what I want. I want quality time with God. That way, I can have a quality day. And I got up for work, and man, I'm kind of struggling. I'm like, what? I need something, and I put on my headphones, and I'm working on my computer, and I start to listen to these preachings, and it just kind of just like, it's just like, to me, it just feels so good for like, even these two young guys, like, it makes me feel so good to know that there's people out there that are just so on fire for God, and they're just, and they're very consistent, and they're still, they're missionaries, and they're preaching the gospel, and it's just so amazing, and I think like a lot of people can't handle like the stuff that they say, but to me it's just so beautiful, because it makes me fall more in love with God, only because I started to realize that before I would be afraid to go to hell, because I mean I was just afraid of like the torture, and afraid of like everything that we hear and read that it is, and I'm starting to realize more that it's not about the reason I don't want to go to hell. It's not I'm still not scared. I'm still afraid. You know what I mean? But I realize that the reason I don't want to go to hell now is because I love God so much that I want to see him in heaven. And that, to me, like, when I realized that today, it made me feel really good, because like, kind of like, like I said, I really get focused, and I'm trying to really just stay on fire, and read my word, and be wise, like God's wisdom, and always have like something to tell somebody, and trust that God's gonna use me, to speak into their lives. And don't get me wrong, like, I've reached out to people that I've never even considered doing before, and I'm doing things that I've never done, but I'm still struggling, like, spiritually, like this weekend I felt so distant from God. I was telling my friend Rebecca that I just, I feel so distant, and it was tough, man. It's kind of heartbreaking, because I feel like it's like, like, if it was like my wife, you know what I mean, and I had been like neglecting her, and I had been, like, not spending enough quality time. Like, it's kind of like a high and by thing, like, thank you for this, thank you for that, and yeah, I'm in it, I'm in it, what I mean. I know where my mind's at. It's not like I'm going back or anything, and it's just that I just haven't been putting forth the effort to seek God first. And I believe I got confirmation on that when I was listening to Isaiah's message. I think this YouTube video is called Carrying the Crippled. It's on the Awakening 209 YouTube channel. You should go check it out. And he talks about the problem is that people aren't seeking God. People are seeking God. But the Bible says, seek the kingdom and his righteousness first, and everything else will fall into place. And I heard it, and then he continues to say, like, not second, not third, seek him first on Monday, seek him first on Tuesday, seek him first on Wednesday, and it's just the smallest little effort you make could make such a big spark on even like a message you're getting, a revelation, and you're just seconds away. You're just one effort away from getting so pumped up, like I am right now. And it feels great. And I'm really excited again. I mean, I hope that I'm able to always do this. I feel like I was thinking about this before I hit the record button. It's kind of like you recycle your faith. Like, it's my faith kind of dropped a little bit, so I kind of lost some of it. But the faith that came back in, was something that was recycled, because it came back, but it came back in a form that was maybe more mature, stronger, and a little more meaningful to me. It's part of breaking down, some of the walls that we begin to put up, and I realize that because I'm starting to get, a little more into it, and I'm considering like Bible college, and doing this for real, I mean, as far as like preaching and everything, it's something that I spend a lot of the day preaching to myself, or talking to God, and saying like, oh, if I would have said that, on the pulpit, probably would have offended a few people, but I know that it would have been something that was good, and it would have touched hearts. Like some of the stuff touches my heart, in a way that it kind of hurts sometimes, but I know that it's like, it's love, because to me, like, God's love isn't something that's, oh my God, like, I love you, leave me a kiss, like, we say God is love, but we don't really take the time to really think, what I mean, like, the way that he loves us is a lot different, and to me, the love that I feel from God is a conviction through the word that turns into like this fiery passion, to be able to touch lives, and I see people like preaching the gospel, I get envious, like Isaiah says, like, he doesn't like seeing people more on fire than him, and neither do I, and I mean, I appreciate it, and I love talking to people like that, but it just makes me want to just go so much harder, you know what I mean, and it's funny because people just like when I spend like throughout my day on Instagram and Facebook, like, it's just like I see people spending so much time, and even like Christians, spending a lot of more time like talking about other things, and I'm just thinking to myself like, well, like, I'm like, maybe I'm a little bit more crazy, because I spend my whole day, all I'm thinking about is just God, God, what can I say, like, what can I do, you know what I mean, like, what, talk to me, like, I need to, the more that I've been on fire for him, the more that I need that communication, and that kind of just proves to me that this, it's not just like a cliche relationship thing, like this this relationship, you know what I mean, like it's showing me like that it really does take two, because I haven't been communicating as much, so I've been feeling like I've been neglecting them, and like, and today, I just said, you know what, like, I prayed through it, I rebuked Satan for whatever I felt that he was doing in my life, I threw on some preachings, and then I started listening to all these great messages, even over the weekend, and it's just, man, I feel so, like, I feel so great, so blessed, and I was listening to Brian, and he's saying, you know, if we are the light of the world, then we are made for dark places, you know, and that speaks, you know, that speaks so much, you know, because, you know, like if we really believe that we are the light of the world, then situations like this is when we should really shine the most. You know, we should come out of situations and come out brighter than before. You know, so I thought that was really great. Also, another thing that I heard, as far as like, you know, the walls that we put up, like I mentioned earlier, I felt like some of the walls I was putting up, you know, was just me overthinking a lot of things, you know, and overthinking, you know, and I was confusing overthinking with prayer. You know, obviously if I wasn't getting any sort of closure, any sort of peace from that, I know that it's overthinking. So if that helps you guys out, sometimes really you want to consider whether you're overthinking it or whether you're really praying about it, because that's when you start to form up those walls. You know, and so there, what he said was, Brian, what he said was, you know, all of the walls that we put up as individuals, all they do is only, instead of keeping people out, you know, all they really do is they only entrap ourselves, which I thought was real. You know, when I listened to that, I gave an amen, and I usually say word instead, and I get kind of bumped on the shoulder sometimes just because I should say amen, but just I think it's so good sometimes. I'm like, that's real, you know, word. But I forget, you know, I'm a Christian now, so I gotta say amen, because that's a good word. So yeah, man, I just wanted to post another video, just letting you guys know that, you know, that you guys, I know that a lot of you guys are probably either new to this or you've been in this for a while, and I've noticed that a lot of people that are in church, you know, are reaching out, and also a lot of new people, you know, you guys are sending me messages, you know, saying, you know, pray for me and all this stuff, and I think it's great, man. And I just encourage, you know, whether you're new in church or whether, you know, you've been in church for a long time, man, to not forget, you know what I mean, that I know that we all, you know, we want to get like really close to God, we want to see him face to face, we want to hear his voice clearly, you know, but you know, you have to remember that you have to seek him first. You know, even if you know the Bible a lot more than somebody else, or if you don't know the Bible, you have to seek him first. I believe that each and every one of us can make a difference, and that's on a daily basis. You know, that's not just, you know, Carlos telling you that he's been doing all this stuff. Like, this is on a daily basis. You wake up, you know, I've changed, you know, my attitude. You know, I've tried my best to stay away from gossip. You know, whether it be at work, whether it be anywhere else. Just, you know, just be free of any of that stuff. You know, and know that you can pray for them and you can pray for those situations. You know, but I mean, once you start to really like clean up your act, clean up, you know, your lifestyle and stuff, you know, you start to feel a lot more closer to God. You know, your communication with him, it becomes, you know, a more a kinder love, you know, because it's a real close relationship, and that's what I feel like tonight. You know, I just feel so close, and I feel so loved. You know, I feel so like so fresh. You know, I feel so fresh, and so yeah, I think it's all, and I thank God for, you know, all these preachers, you know, that just pour their heart and soul into the word, you know, and it's not just a Bible message, you know, it's not just another Sunday service, you know, it's life, you know, that and it's just so, to me, it's so meaningful, and it's so, you know, it impacts my life every time that I hear these guys preach, and it just makes me want to be up there on the pulpit, you know, and you know, one day just being able to change people's lives, you know, and be somebody who's active in the church as well, you know, because I feel like, you know, it may be my calling to do one thing or another, but I mean, it doesn't have to be my calling to help out in all the ministries. It doesn't have to be my calling to make every effort to pray for people, you know, to reach out to people, you know, to spread the good word, you know, and testify, of course. So maybe, you know, maybe the next video I'll give you guys a good idea on my testimony. So stay tuned. You know, I love you guys, man. You know, and don't ever forget that. You know, I love you guys a lot. I know that a lot of us live a lot of like different lifestyles and deal with different situations at the home, you know, but you know, it's just the enemy, man. It's just society, you know, telling us sometimes that we're not good enough. So I feel like, you know, I've noticed a lot of people, man, that they're you know, they're trying to give up on life, or they're trying to they don't see the real value in themselves, you know. And these are people that believe in God as well, and just know that if that's you, you know, just know that that's not God's plan for you. You're a masterpiece, you know, and God's plan for you is much greater. It's for something so much greater than that. He has a purpose for you every day that you wake up. You just have to seek him first. So just keep that in mind, guys. Seek him first, and know your worth, man. Know your worth. You know, you're worth more than you'll ever think to him. He's strict, but he loves us. Ultimately he loves us, and our goal is to be with him on the last days and be with him as we all rise up. So yeah, guys, I'm closing up now. I love you guys. Good night. God bless you guys. I'm probably gonna get into the word right now and just pray. So if you guys are reading this, just pray with me, or you guys are listening to this, just pray with me, and God bless you guys, and I'll talk to you guys hopefully sometime this week. All right. God bless you guys.